everybody. Welcome to another episode of Burn Your Boats. As David alluded to on one of our previous episodes, is that we want to bring you more content this year for 2025. We're now a year into our podcast journey, and we've had a lot of great feedback and just a lot of great conversations that have been kind of inspired by a lot of the episodes. So we want to continue to give you more content, and part of that is being able to provide these kind of short, say 10, 15-minute episodes. So sometimes David will be the one that provides it, and sometimes I will. And then we'll continue to have our weekly episode where we're both on, and we're either interviewing someone or just talking amongst ourselves about a topic that's timely within the market right now. So I'm going to jump right into it. I want to keep this at 10 minutes or under and be respectful of your time and be able for you to go jog around the block for a mile and get some great value from this. Today, I'm going to call this the number one investment for 2025, right? So is it, real estate? Is it crypto? Is it stocks? Is it, all these different asset classes? Is it self-storage? Is it multifamily? I know this sounds cheesy, but the older I get, the more experience I get, is that the number one investment is you. If you're not investing in yourself constantly, then I don't think that you're ever going to probably be able to achieve the amount of success, happiness without putting yourself first. What do I mean by that, right? And I've heard that before, and I've always kind of thought it was a little bit cheesy. I thought it just didn't make a lot of sense. Hey, I need to be focused on learning how to buy a property, right? Or learning how to flip a property, right? I'll figure myself out later. I've heard a couple sayings. It says, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got, okay? And it's kind of the definition of insanity, right? Where you keep doing the same thing and then you expect a different outcome. So we're here in 2025. Everyone's doing goal setting, all these different exercises, but why are you going to be different? Why are you going to get in better shape? Why are you going to buy that big real estate project? What makes it any different? Why is your mind going to just automatically hit a light switch and all of a sudden you're going to be prepared to be able to do this, right? So I want to talk a little bit about what's going to make a change in your life for this year that's any different from November of 2024, right? So I think that the cheat code to be able to do all this is kind of simple, right? You have to have accountability, okay? You have to be able to hold yourself accountable, which then keeps you out of your comfort bubble, right? So that you can't make excuses and you have that built-in kind of accountability system, right? So where do we find that? Like, where do we find that accountability? I've found with myself, my own career, especially over the last, say, 3 to 6 months, is that I've been able to find that accountability through one thing: paying for accountability, paying for masterminds, paying to be in rooms with people that are much high level thinking than I am, right? And I know you may not want to hear that, but if I wanted to get in better shape for 2025, and so I went and signed up for a gym membership, the gym's not going to call me every day and say, hey, Clark, you didn't show up after work today. They're not. So I may have that gym membership, but I need that accountability measure. And the only way to do that is to pay for that, right? So let's talk about business for a second. All right. I'm seeing this happen right in front of my very own eyes. Is I want to think bigger in business, right? I want to be able to have better connections, people with more access that have done bigger things, more experience, more capital, all the things that we talk about. You read books all the time. Hey, how do you think bigger, right? 10x is easier than 2x, right? Well, it's easy to read that on a book title, but how does that actually work, right? For me personally, I've joined 2 masterminds that I've spent anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 on in the last couple months to surround myself with people that are just doing bigger things than me. And guess what? Now I have access to them, right? So I have access to be able to ask them questions. Hey, when you were in my shoes and you had done X, Y, and Z, what are some great tips or things that you took away to be able to expedite your path, right? Are there some mistakes that you made that maybe now looking back, you wouldn't have made them because you would have pivoted and done something different, right? I want to be able to ask all of those questions to these people that are much faster, stronger, lighter than me, right? So that's going to enable me to be able to skip a few steps. And that's the thinking, right? Now, is every single person at a mastermind group going to change your life? Of course not, right? But you only need 1, 2, 3 connections to really kind of expedite your journey. But you have to get uncomfortable. You have to go into rooms where maybe you're not the smartest person in the room. You may even be the dumbest person in the room, and that's the best room to be in. The challenge is that a lot of people that are listening is you have to pay for this. It's just that simple. You're not going to be able to walk into your local Starbucks and be able to just meet these people that are great connections, right? The chance is so low. So how do we create that cheat code to be able to expedite this? You have to basically pay for yourself to be in these rooms, and you're also paying for the people that aren't in those rooms as well too. So you're keeping out the naysayers, and you're only having access to people that have a growth mindset and they don't have a scarcity mindset. So just a few examples of some groups that you can join, and there's a ton of them. I would challenge a lot of people, especially if you're big into real estate, and you probably, hear David and I talk about real estate a tremendous amount of the time that we have, but don't just go out if you're in real estate and join a real estate mastermind. It's not to say that you can't, but I think there's a lot of great masterminds that are business masterminds, right? That help you kind of get out of your job. So don't just default to say, hey, I want to learn how to do real estate, so I have to do a real estate mastermind. I think that is something that is not necessarily something that's required. Okay. So there's masterminds like GoBundance, Collective Genius, Investor Fuel. I was in Investor Fuel for a couple of years. There's 7-Figure Flipping with Bill Allen and Adam Whitney. I'm a part of a mastermind called Capitalist Cartel. It's a group based out of the Midwest. They tend to focus on commercial and multifamily. I love those guys. There's another group I just joined called Fully Funded. It's based around capital raising with Sam Silverman. Another group I joined is called Action Academy with Brian Lubin. Okay. And that's been a really great group. Lots of high energy with people that are wanting to get out of their W-2. And it's great to have these conversations with these community members because it inspires you to want to hold yourself accountable, create key performance indicators or KPIs. Another one is Better Life Tribe with Brandon Turner, formerly of Bigger Pockets. So that's just to name a few, and there's a ton of other great ones out there. Don't get bogged down with saying, I have to join the perfect mastermind. Just go do it, right? Because every mastermind is going to have its pluses and its minuses, but every mastermind is going to have some high-level people in it. And just because maybe it's something that's not solely focused on real estate, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, from what I've learned, is that it's not that I need to necessarily know more about real estate. It's that I need to know more about how to run a business, how to hire properly. That has nothing to do with how I underwrite a real estate deal. So keep that in mind, okay? So I want you to take away this one thing. If you are going to change for 2025, you're going to be bigger, faster, stronger, more confident, right? You have to do something different to change. Why is anything going to change? And if you keep wanting to do insanity, which is doing the same thing, and just oof, you're going to change overnight, your mentality is going to change, you're going to have this growth mindset. Why are you going to have this growth mindset if you're still doing the same things with the same friends, with the same network, basically digesting the same content? You have to do something different. And I will tell you right now that being able to pay to be in rooms, pay to be in masterminds with really, really high level people is going to help to hold you accountable so that you can start to shift your mindset, right? Last year, I bought a personal trainer, right? Guess what? I was never going to miss a personal training session. And I did a bunch of stuff that I never would do if I was on my own, right? And it's no different in business. It's going to force you to want to get outside your comfort bubble, do things that you haven't done in the past. It's going to hurt. It's not going to be fun, but that's how we grow, right? We grow when we're uncomfortable. Another thing, I've been trying to learn Spanish. I live in Florida. It's a helpful skill set to be able to speak some Spanish, right? How many people do you know that have taken Duolingo and are fluent in, fill in the blank language? I don't know a person. Why? Because there's no accountability. There's no one, Duolingo is not calling, the customer service rep is not calling you saying, did you do your lessons for the day? So what did I do? I went out, I joined a group. I physically drive there once a week for 2 hours. I have homework just like I'm going back to college. If I don't do the homework, I look like a dummy, right? So that accountability is there to help hold my feet to the fire so that I can do my homework, I can prioritize it. All right, so I want to wrap this up because I want to keep these podcasts short and sweet, and I want you to be able to get a mile jog in and be able to take away some nuggets. So I think that when you are really serious with yourself, that you want to make a change for 2025, you have to invest in yourself. And a lot of times investing in yourself means you have to invest money because that money truly helps to hold you accountable so that you have people around you that are watching you. And whenever you are watched and being managed, you tend to want to do things, and you tend to not watch as much Netflix, and maybe you work a little bit longer, and you're going to be able to reach your goals much faster. Because let's be honest, if you are just writing your 2025 goals down and you say, hey, I'm going to buy this much real estate, or I'm going to get in this shape, or I'm going to, pick up on whatever it is that you want to do, and you don't really have any different way to get there, then I just don't see why anything is going to change. And we'll be having the same conversation in 2026. So I hope this helps. And we look forward to bringing you more content in the future. And I feel passionately about this. This is really helping me to be able to hold myself accountable, to put myself in uncomfortable rooms where I get to have much higher level discussions, to where I can have a discussion with someone that's working on $100 million project, right? Well, that seems pie in the sky to me, but if I surround myself with people like that long enough, it's not going to be as scary. And guess what? Ultimately, I'm going to be like a sponge, and I'm going to be able to, work myself into those circles to be able to do those projects myself where it's not so scary. So I'll leave you with that. Let's make this a hell of a 2025, and let's get after it. Thank you, everyone. Well, that is a wrap for today, folks. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Leave us a review on any of the podcast platforms that you listen to, and YouTube as well. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Burn Your Boats Wealth, and leave comments, talk to us about things that you want us to talk about or things you disagree with us on. We appreciate all that type of insight. Your support really fuels our fire to bring you even more valuable content. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the support, and we will see you next time.
You've been listening to the Burn Your Boats Wealth podcast with Clark Lunt and David Shaw. We would love to hear from you. Please reach out at contact@burnyourboatswealth.com with comments, questions, and if you have a topic you would like Clark and David to discuss on an upcoming episode. We would very much appreciate it if you took the time to rate and review Burn Your Boats on your favorite podcast listening app, and make sure to follow and share on social media. Content in Burn Your Boats Wealth podcast is for entertainment purposes only and is not legal or financial advice. Please review our legal disclaimer at burnyourboatswealth.com. Thank you and have a great day.